If your Snapdragons are getting a bit tall and leggy, this is the moment to pinch them. I'll show you exactly how, plus how to turn those cuttings into new plants. Hi everyone, my name's Annette and welcome to Cottoverdi on this lovely blustery day here in the back garden. Honestly, pinching out Snapdragons is such a cool little trick if you want bushier, fuller plants with loads more flowers. All you have to do is snip the tops off when they're 3 to 4 inches tall, and then this encourages the plants to branch out and become fuller, and you will definitely get more blooms. Pinching out is going to trigger your Snapdragon to send out multiple side branches, often doubling or tripling your flower spikes through the season. Also, it's going to create a shorter, bushier plant, which is less likely to fall over in the wind and the rain, possibly won't need staking, and it's just going to create this more abundant display throughout the season. So let's get right down to it. I'm going to show you when to pinch your Snapdragons. So when your plant is about 3 to 4 inches tall, this one's about 3 inches tall, and it's formed 3 to 4 good sets of leaves. This one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's got loads, 7 sets of leaves. This is a really good time to pinch your Snapdragons. It doesn't matter if your plant is 6 inches tall and you've left it a bit long like I have, as long as it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 good sets of leaves, this is a great time to pinch your Snapdragon. It's not too late, even though this one is even forming flower buds already. I've left these so that I could show you what happens. Basically, what will happen if you leave your Snapdragon, this is not ideal. I've left it in a really small pot, so it's not created the really long stems that it could create. It's flowering already, but that's because it's deficient in nutrients, because it's pot bound and it's stuck in this little pot here. But what I wanted to show you on this one is that it's got a little cotyledon here. This seed leaf, the very first leaves that come out, don't count those when you're counting your 3 to 4 sets of leaves. This one, I've buried the seed leaf in here when I potted it up into a 9 centimetre container. So you want to count 3 to 4, 5 sets of leaves, 1, 2, 3, 4. You probably want about 5 or 6 sets of leaves, to be honest, if you want to take cuttings. But if you just want to pinch your Snapdragons, make sure that it's got 2 really good sets of leaves. So this is 1 set of leaves and this is the second set of leaves here. And then we would pinch it down to here. I'm going to show you how to pinch your Snapdragons. So when we're pinching the Snapdragons, we want to cut just above the second or third set of leaves, so true leaves. So this is 1 set here. Let's do them separately. This is 1 set here, this is a second set, and this is a third set. So when we're pinching, I'm going to use snips, but you can use your fingers or scissors, whatever you like. So when we're pinching, we want to cut above, not the first, we could cut above the second, or we could cut above the third. And when we're doing that, I'm going to cut above the second set of leaves because I want to take a cutting, which is this top bit here. So when we're pinching, I'm hoping that I can zoom in on this and you'll be able to see really closely. When we're pinching, we want to cut the main stem, avoiding these little side shoots here. And you just want to cut so that we don't leave too much of an end there, but it really don't fuss too much with it and just snip the stem off. Now, I know that you're probably thinking, oh, I've lost all those flowers, but actually what would happen if we left this on here is this would happen, where you get 1 tall stem with just a flower on the top, and then these little side shoots, can you see the little side shoots on this plant just aren't particularly large or healthy, because this plant has got something called apical dominance, where all the hormones are in the top of the plant here, telling it to shoot up straight and not telling the plant to shoot from the sides. So when we take the top off, it hasn't got apical dominance anymore. What it's going to do now is it's going to trigger the plant to make these side shoots branch and grow. So these side shoots will start growing now that I've taken this bit off. Now, if you've got a really tall leggy plant like mine here, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So I'm going to count sets of true leaves. So this is 1 and this is 2. And I'm going to take the whole of this top off here. And it's probably quite hard to see, but there are 2 tiny little buds in that bit there. So just in where the stem is, there are 2 tiny little buds. So what I want to do now, these 2 are done, they're finished. I'm going to pot this one up into a container that is this size. So this one will go into a 9 centimetre container. This one is just going to go back out onto my patio. I could plant this now, to be honest with you, but I'll let the side shoots develop first a little bit before I plant it. This one I'm just going to pot up. So the best bit about pinching snapdragons to create bushier plants with more flowers is that we can grow even more snapdragons. So maybe all your seeds didn't take and you've got less snapdragons than you wanted. What we can do now is grow even more snapdragons. Excuse me, I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to use a rooting hormone. I do find it helps. You can get them in garden centres. I think I've had this pot for, I don't know, 10 years. They last decades. So I use some rooting hormone, really easy to come by. I can link some in the description below if you're interested in buying it online, but it's readily available in garden centres. It's super easy to use, so don't let that worry you. Then what we need is some small pots. It doesn't matter what kind of pots you have. I just have these little pots here, but you can use any pot that you like, as long as it's got drainage holes. Fill it up with fresh compost, and then what we want to do is make a hole. So I use this tiny little plant stake that came in the plant. You can use a dibber, you can use a pen, anything you like, but what we want to do is create a hole first. And the reason we're doing that is because if we don't create the hole, then when we put the rooting compound onto the end of our stem and push it into the soil, it will just push all that rooting compound off, whereas this way there's a nice hole and it's not going to push the rooting compound off. Anyway, let me show you how to take a cutting. I'm going to start with this one here, and what we want to do is we want to remove the side shoots. So I mean, you can snip them off with your snips, so just take them off like that. Or if you've got an old kitchen knife, which is something else that I find quite useful, you can just cut them off with an old kitchen knife. And what I also do is I pinch out the top, because I want the plant to focus on creating side shoots. So this has got now 1, 2, 3, it's got six leaves left on it. I am going to reduce that because we don't need it to have quite so many leaves, and also it will help with something called transpiration. So this plant hasn't got any roots at the moment. When we stick it into the compost, it's going to be really difficult for it to take up water, and the leaves let water off. It's called transpiring, so water will evaporate from the leaves all day long, and so it will really struggle the more leafage there is. You know, you could even take off this one here. Just leave some leaves so that it can photosynthesize. And then what we want to do is I take my rooting powder. It comes in a gel form as well, so you can get a gel. I've just always used the powder. Look how much I've got left, and I've been using this for years. So I put a tiny bit in the lid. I don't want to be sticking my stem in there and making it all claggy and mucky. So I take my cutting and I just waft it around in here. What you can do is have a little pot of water if you feel like the rooting powder isn't sticking, but as long as it's sticking on the end, I'm going to get it to stick on some leaf nodes too. As long as it's sticking on the end, that's where the roots are going to come out of. But if you want to dip it into some water and then dip it into that bit, you can do that. And then we just place it into the hole that I created earlier, trying not to knock off the rooting hormone that is now on here, and just pop it in like that. And then the most important thing to do is to water this in. So don't soak it, all the rooting hormone will rush all over the place. It might be easier to dampen your compost first before you do this, and then you just need to pat it to make sure there's good contact between the compost and your roots. You don't want there to be the hole still that we created. We don't want that. We want all the compost to be touching that little stem. I'll show you this one. So this one has got a flower spike on it. I do not want the flower spike, so I'm going to chop off the flower spike. I'm going to chop it down to there. I'm going to make this cutting a little bit shorter. We don't need it that long. And then I'm going to take off these side shoots. I mean, you can pinch them off with your fingers if you want to. I find that when I do that, sometimes I snap the stem, and I don't want to be snapping the stem. So that's why I use a knife for my snips to take off everything at the side. Some people will cut to just below where the leaf node is there, because there's more hormone in it, and you can do that too if you want. I'm just going to snip these leaves a little bit, don't want quite so much leafage. Same process, exactly the same process again. So I'm going to dunk my thing in there. There is rooting hormone on that, and then I'm going to place it in my hole like that. And then in a week or two, these are going to be new plants, and they are going to be exactly the same as the plant that I took the cutting from. So they will turn into the same flower. They are direct clones. They are going to be identical. So firstly, I should talk about how to look after these. So make sure your compost is damp, and make sure every day that your compost stays moist. We don't want it to be crumbly and dry, and it may look crumbly and dry on the surface. So make sure that underneath, just dig your finger in a little bit and make sure that underneath that it's still damp, and if it's not, give it a nice drink. I tend to bottom water all of mine at this stage. If you wanted to, you could put these in a tray with a propagator lid over the top to make sure that it's surrounded by humidity. These cuttings will really enjoy humidity. So you could put a clear domed lid on top of them. I am going to put these in my seed starting room, so I'm not putting them out on the patio. These don't have any roots, so it's going to be really hard for them to take up the moisture. They're kind of like a cut flower, like one you'd put in a vase. You can root them in water if you want to, but that to me is just an extra step, because then you've got to pot them up anyway. So I stick them in here. They root just as well, if not better, with a bit of rooting hormone on them and surrounded by compost, as trying to root them in water, especially as I often forget to change my water, which you need to do. Anyway, so you could put a glass dome over the top. I don't tend to do that because I worry that too much humidity will lead to damping off. So what I tend to do instead is I have a water spray gun, and I just spray mine every morning when I go in and check my seedlings. I just spray the tray that's got the cuttings in it with water, just to sort of create a humid environment. So the leaves have got water sitting on them, and it's just sort of a light spray. I do it once a day. You could do it twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening, just to make sure that the leaves also just aren't fading too fast. So it will take a little bit of care to get these to turn into plants, but you'll be surprised at how easily they will turn into plants. And then the best thing about that also is that these are going to be a succession. So rather than sowing new seeds, these are going to flower later than the original plant. So it's a win-win basically, because you're going to have these that will flower abundantly, and these, because they're going to take time to root and then they'll produce the flowers afterwards, these will flower a bit later. So when these are done, these will then flower. So you'll have like standbys. You can take your snaps out when they're looking a bit weak and tired and pop the new ones in. So the other thing we can do, if you've got a whole tray, I've got 15 plants here. This is Potomac Royal, which is my favourite Snapdragon. I do think it's my favourite Snapdragon. I just love the rich colour. If you've got a whole tray of Potomac Royal and you wanted flowers sooner and you didn't want to delay your flowering by a couple of weeks, you didn't want to pinch them all, what you can do is just pinch half your tray. So maybe you've got 6 plants, pinch 3 of them and don't pinch the other 3. Then you'll have 3 plants that flower 2 to 3 weeks sooner than the ones that you pinch, and then you'll have the ones that you pinch that will flower 2 to 3 weeks later, and then after that you'll have the ones that are growing from the cuttings, you'll have those that will flower even later than that, and that way you can have a succession of the same Snapdragon flowering throughout the summer. You really don't need to have 15 Potomac Royals or anything. You could just do it with what you've got. If you've got 2 plants, just pinch one, don't pinch the other, and then you'll just have this lovely succession of planting. Don't forget also that once your Snapdragon has had its first flush of flowers, that we should deadhead them, because that will re-energize the plant, it will stop it going to seed, and then you'll get a second flush of flowers later in the season. When not to pinch your Snapdragons. So there are a few varieties that we probably shouldn't pinch, and in fact I've never pinched them. So I grow some of the mini butterfly range. They're normally called mini butterfly something, and those ones I've never pinched. They don't grow nearly as tall. They're about 30-40 centimeters tall. That's what they seem to grow to. I have them at the front of the border, and they're really lovely bushy plants. I think they're super pretty, by the way, but you don't need to pinch those. In fact, I would advise against pinching those Snapdragons. The other reason is, as I mentioned earlier, so don't pinch your Snapdragons if you want your Snapdragons to flower sooner. So pinching them is going to delay the flowering by 2 to 3 weeks, possibly more. But so if you need blooms sooner, perhaps you've got an event or something like that, then don't pinch your Snapdragons. You'll get the flowers when you planned to have them. And the other reason not to pinch them is if you are growing them for the cut flower market, then you want the tall, stocky stems, and the taller the better, really. And so you don't want to pinch those Snapdragons. So pinching Snapdragons is a really simple job that makes a big difference, and you'll get extra plants as well. I really hope that you've enjoyed this video today, learning about how to pinch, when not to pinch your Snapdragons. Hope you found it interesting and useful. If you have, do subscribe, because I will do a tour of all my Snapdragons during the summer, so you'll get to see what they all look like in the garden. So hit that subscribe button. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.